Welcome back to Hardball. It's time for tonight's Hardball debate. Is Hillary Clinton a hawk or is she a dove? Jon Soltz is an Iraq War veteran with VoteBets.org, and Buzz Patterson is the vice chairman of Move America Forward and a former military aide to President Bill Clinton. He's also the author of War Crimes. John, is Hillary the kind of candidate who we can trust to get us out of Iraq and not go to war with Iran?
I think Hillary's someone who has all the strengths of a strong commander-in-chief. She understands how we fight. I mean, when you talk to her privately, she can tell you the difference between an old brigade combat team and a new unit of action, and how we've, combined our mechanized infantry and armor. It's absolutely fascinating to speak with her behind the scenes. Her last 8 years in the Armed Services Committee, she's learned from, and she understands why we fight. I was at a large event with her several months ago, and she pulled me aside and she asked me about staying in the Army or not staying in the Army, and I said, well, ma'am, I don't know. I love the Army, and my greatest hour was I ever had in my life was leading soldiers into war. And she says to me, you're right, John. There's no greater honor than being in charge of our troops in a combat zone. And for her to understand that, like I say, she understands how we fight and why we fight. And she is
so
somebody
she's a hawk.
No, she's not either. She's someone who represents sensible foreign policy. I mean, she's someone who will take the fight to al-Qaeda.
Should a hawk vote for her? Somebody who believes in this war in Iraq. Should they vote for Hillary Clinton?
I think people should vote for Hillary Clinton if they want someone who will protect America, take the fight to al-Qaeda.
Help me out here. If you're for the war in Iraq, you want to keep the troops over there, you want to keep them fighting over there, should you vote for Hillary?
I don't think you should vote for Hillary Clinton if you want to retreat and defeat against al-Qaeda. If you want to defeat al-Qaeda, you need to vote for Hillary Clinton. If you want to keep American troops stuck in the middle of a civil war in Iraq, you should go vote for a Republican. But if you want a strong national security, someone who will rebuild the Army and Marine Corps, someone who will destroy al-Qaeda in the Afghan-Pakistan region, you should support Senator Clinton.
Okay, let's go to Buzz Patterson. How do you see Hillary, hawk or dove?
Hey, Chris. She's a dove in hawk's clothing. I mean, I know her personally, worked for her for 2 years with her husband from 1996 to 1998, and she is anything but a hawk. I mean, she wants to pull us out of Iraq. She voted for the war before she voted against the war, to coin a phrase from a previous candidate. She will say anything she has to say, Chris, to get elected to presidency. She's a pathological liar. She does not understand the military. I can speak first and foremost, personally, knowing her intimately. She is not a hawk. She is anything but. She's a Wellesley College socialist, anti-military, anti-American.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
How did you get that insight on her working? Were you her military attaché, or husband's military attaché?
Yes, I was President Bill Clinton's Air Force aide from 1996 to 1998.
What did you hear, sotto voce, that we haven't heard from her? What insight did you get from working at close quarters?
Well, the fact that she wanted to outlaw military uniforms in the White House when I first arrived in 1996, I think, is a perfect example. And she talks about President Bush now, Chris, not having the gumption to support our troops. Look at Bill Clinton's record in the 1990s, drawing the Army divisions from 18 down to 10, drawing Air Force fighter wings from 24 to 12, reducing Navy ships from 586 to 324, cutting the military troop strength, and John should know this better than anybody.
Yeah, I want to talk about this, Chris, because he's exactly wrong. I mean, he's making an argument for us.
John, listen, I was there, pal. You weren't.
Listen, I was there. Let me tell you what it was like.
You weren't in the White.
Let me tell you what it was like.
John, you weren't in the White House. And oh, by the way, John, let me tell you.
You're right.
John,
let me tell you something. You weren't in Kosovo when I was in Kosovo under Bill Clinton.
I was in Bosnia. John, I was in Bosnia
when I was there. When we had up-armored Humvees on the ground. You weren't in Kosovo.
I was in Bosnia, John. I was in Bosnia.
Okay, I want to do this clearly. First of all, I need this. Look, let's pretend this is a courtroom. We need facts here. Jon Soltz, you believe Hillary Clinton is a credible national defense expert?
Absolutely. I mean,
you believe that she is the strongest candidate of the Democrats running to defend the country, including continuing the campaign in Iraq?
I think that all of the Democrats are stronger than the Republicans, because the Republicans right now have opposed increase in the size of our military for the last 7 years. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That is so incorrect, John.
They have a dedication to super-duper missile defense systems in the sky that have alienated our allies, and the Democrats have a position right now to take the fight to al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. I was in Kosovo when we did not.
I was in Bosnia, John, the exact same time.
Why do we have up-armament equipment under Bill Clinton in Kosovo?
He cut the military.
When I was in Iraq, we didn't have it.
We didn't have up-armored Humvees.
One soldier for every 5 civilians under Bill Clinton, and in Iraq we didn't have it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Bill Clinton was a better commander-in-chief than George W. Bush.
Nobody's hearing anything here. Let me ask you, Buzz Patterson, this is a question. Based upon all that you know about the Clintons, including the former president, 6 months into office, how many American troops will remain in Iraq? We have 160,000 out. Will she yank them all out? What will she do?
She'll yank about half out, which will be a debacle. It'll be a nightmare. And, John, I am so happy you're not serving in Iraq right now, stabbing your fellow men and women in uniform like you're doing back here in the States.
Jon Soltz, 6 months into a Clinton presidency, how many troops will we have in Iraq?
You're going to see an offensive against al-qaeda in Afghanistan. You'll probably see a redistribution of troops to take the fight to the enemy, to the people that attacked our country and keep America safe.
So you believe that? So you both agree that she'll cut the number of troops dramatically in Iraq?
Absolutely.
You say that too, Buzz.
I agree with that. I think we'll be out of there in about 12 months.
We need to take the fight to the people that attacked this country on 9/11, the people in Senator Clinton's home state, which is New York.
You didn't get the memo, man. We're fighting Iraq. We're fighting al-qaeda in Iraq.
You know what? I don't need the memo because I was in Iraq. You read the newspaper, I was in Iraq. That's a big difference between you and I.
John, I've been to Iraq, too.
Yeah, on your what?
I've been to Iraq.
Are you talking about your rah-rah, sis-boom-bah cheerleader tours the White House take you on, or are you talking about the soldier who took the country?
Are you still in the reserves, John? Are you still in the reserves?
I'm a private citizen right now, chairman of VoteVets.org.
Are you getting a DOD paycheck?
War veteran. I'm an Iraq war veteran and chairman of VoteVets.org.
Are you getting a DOD paycheck?
We're going to have to, you guys should settle this outside. I want to thank Buzz Patterson and Jon Soltz. Up next, how do the Democrats do that?